Subito, subito, non c'è più riposo, subito. These are the words that we were able to hear yesterday from Simon Colinet in training session day 2, with a French accent, of course, that a lot of people are speaking about. It's going totally viral. This morning, Juventus even put it as a wake-up message to the Juventini in their Juventus WhatsApp channel. Fantastic, beautiful. We will speak about training session, what we observed, what was really important, but also, of course, in today's video, we'll speak about Mercato, entry, exit, with a promise of Giuntoli to Thiago Motta about one specific player, and then a small backstage story about Giuntoli way of working, something totally new that I'm sure that you will appreciate. So to put a maximum of like, don't forget to continue to subscribe to the channel. Again, thank you for all the new ones that are coming, but also especially thank you for all the people that are loyal and continue to watch the videos. You are just fantastic. So make this one even better with a lot of interaction. I'm curious to read you. I'm curious to see what your opinion is about that new 24-25 Juventus, the excitement, the enthusiasm level that you have. Maximum of like, because now we speak about Juventus Football Club. I told you about Simon Colinet, and the people who are watching the channel since long, they already know the name. They're already familiar with the name. Le Magicien, the Wizard, Simon Colinet. And I'm extremely happy that now people, they start to realize that it's not only a Thiago Motta that is able to do magic to transform a team, but it's Thiago Motta with a team, with an entire team that has been totally changed. And now with the videos that we are able to see, we see on the foreground, we hear on the foreground Simon Colinet. I always told you that he would be a game changer, and these first training sessions, that's what we were able to see. What are the differences with the past? Well, I will tell you that we are starting immediately with high intensity training session. Does that mean that in the past there were absolutely never intensity training? No, but we were never able to watch them, to see them. It was a conscious choice of Juve to not go too much into detail. They were always using the same images, while this season they want also in the communication on YouTube to show us something different. A lot of differences with the past. It's really a conscious choice of Juve to say, look, guys, we are entering a new era. And I love it. And I really love it. That's the first thing that we see. Intensity, intensity. The second thing that we see, it's the ball. It's always there. From day one, we use the ball. Do you remember that metaphor when Thiago Motta has been presented as the new coach of Juventus with the ball that were bouncing from the stands, rolling into the field, forming TM, trademark, Thiago Motta, in the center of the field? Well, now you see that that beautiful metaphor is translated into reality. You see the faces of Jallo yesterday. You see the face of Manu Locatelli, and especially the one, quite funny one, of Matias Soule. The guys were totally dead. They were dead. I had the opportunity to send a few messages to some players which I have some contact with. Of course, I will not reveal you the name, but I asked, and how are these first training sessions? They all told me, Pepe, they are crazy. They are really killing us. And we love it. Is it a surprise? No, not that much actually, or at least for the people that were following not only Bologna during the games, but that started to interest themselves about what were the way of working at Bologna, what was the methodology, and that methodology has been taken from Bologna to take it there at Juve. So we see high intensity training session, not extremely long, but extremely intense. Two different ones where the player, they run. Giovanni Albanese said exactly the same, also reporting that the day after, we start exactly at the moment that we stopped the day before. Thiago Motta, extremely looking at every single detail. Apparently yesterday he even stopped 45 minutes to speak with the staff that are taking care of the field about the grass, to tell you how much they go into detail. Nothing is just casualty, a coincidence. Another thing that we saw changing in that training session before going to Mercato, because I know that that's what you are all waiting for, is the involvement of the goalkeepers with the ball, with the feet. I saw Perin, Pinsoglio, Daffara, I saw Di Gregorio without gloves. They don't use the gloves. They play. They touch the ball. Look at the images of Di Gregorio. Look at Daffara also there, using his feet, going into contrast to beautiful. You know it, and I will not change my opinion now. I hate the obsessive obligation to always play from the back. For example, De Zerbi Brighton that were obliged to do so, even if there were much more simple solutions that were obliged to go and play with a goalkeeper, taking a lot of risk. This is something that I don't like. But we can't deny that playing also with a goalkeeper, when it's the best solution, well, it's an extremely important asset, a benefit for the team. So playing with a goalkeeper, absolutely yes. Not that obsessive, obliged intention to play with the goalkeeper. That's something that I don't like. Thiago Motta that was speaking to everyone. I already told you yesterday, speaking to the staff, etc., but also to his player. We saw yesterday some images of him speaking with Kefren Turam. I'm sure that they were speaking in French. And then the funny thing on social media, Andrea Cambiaso that wrote under a post of Mattia Perin, from now on I want to open every single day Instagram and I want to read your motivational morning sentences or quotes. Because we know that Perin, every single morning, he has that special quote for the team. While Mattia Perin, he answered him, come back faster, because I want you to hear them live and not read them on Instagram. Come back earlier from holiday. At least you're showing a beautiful example. Well, guys, this is a funny, of course, discussion between the two players. They are joking, they are laughing. But I'm not taking that too much as a joke. Not for Cambiaso, but if there is one player that I really would love to have earlier than his end of holidays at La Continassa, personally, I would ask and I would recommend to Fagioli to come earlier. I really would love Fagioli to come earlier. Why? Because Fagioli didn't play the entire year last year. Of course, he went with La Nazionale. We know why. But in the midfield, there is a total revolution. There is a revolution with Douglas Luiz, Kefren Turam. We are going for Cope Manners, or at least we will try to go for Cope Manners. Locatelli is not anymore in the starting lineups the first name that you put in that midfield, which he was next to Adrien Rabiot. Well, a Fagioli that we are all believing in is a player that will need to work again on his condition, on his game level, even if he trained all year last season. Well, I would recommend it, you know what? Come a bit earlier. Don't wait until the end of the holiday. Fight immediately for your spot, for your starting spot, because a lot of Juventini, they are waiting for you to do a fantastic season. That I absolutely not doubt about it. And take an advantage on a Douglas Luiz that is not yet there. Locatelli is there. Kefren Turam is there. Fight for your spot immediately. That's what I would recommend to Fagioli. What is the date where all the Juventini will come back? Well, on the 19th, 20th, we will start having the players that went with their national teams, like Vlahovic, like Kostic, like Szczesny, to understand if yes or no we will find a solution before or not. McKennie, Weah, Cambiaso, Gatti, Fagioli. So all the Italian players as well. These players will come before leaving for Germany, because that's, you know, where we will do the rest of our preseason from the 20th until the 26th. They will come before all of them except of Federico Chiesa. Why? Because he will have his wedding on the 20th of July, so we'll have a bit more day off, which is totally normal, guys. Of course, if you are having a wedding, of course, you can't just having a wedding a day after going in Germany, leaving your wife. It's strange. So that makes totally sense. What about the other players? Well, after the 26th, we'll have Danilo, Bremer, Douglas Luiz, so the Brazilian ones, on top of Kenan Yildiz, that today you will probably see some images of him in Torino. Why? Because he needs to do a surgery for the nose, and then he will continue his holiday coming after Germany. I would love to see Kenan Yildiz as well in Germany. Anyway, Motta di entusiasmo is the front page of Tutto Sport. Motta, a lot of enthusiasm, where we saw yesterday a lot of people. And we saw him speaking 30 minutes with John Elkann. Fantastic. He gave him actually what he's expecting from Thiago Motta. He asked him a lot of questions as well, sharing a bit that Juventinità, that is extremely important. We saw all the management there. John Elkann, Scannavino, Ferrero, President, Giuntoli that was there. They were all watching the training session. At a certain moment, the supporters were there as well from the morning. There were more or less 300 ultra that were singing chants. And yes, they went outside. Giuntoli, Thiago Motta applauding them, even hugging some of them, putting a bit of autographs to some kids. Beautiful moments there, which shows the compactness of Juventus. I always told you, a Juve that is winning, a winning Juve, is a Juve that is compact in all the equally important aspect of Juventus. ownership, management, technical staff, players, supporters. And there is not really an order. They're all equally important to have a winning Juve. A winning Juve is where everything is working perfectly. Everyone is doing their job, but it's working perfectly when we are compact. That backstage story that I told you about Giuntoli Cristiano, you know that it's a bit different. Cristiano Giuntoli, he stays in Torino. It's Mercato, it's crazy, and he's doing already a lot of things, but Cristiano Giuntoli, he is in Torino. The office of Cristiano is in Torino. You know that we have a mini office in Milano. You know that we have a mini office in UK, or at least not really owned by us in UK, but at least in London we have an office where we can stay there to do Mercato, which is important, London, Milano, where everything happens. Well, Giuntoli says, I stay in Torino. You want to talk with me? Come to Torino. Come to me, come to my office. The door is open, come to talk. I like that. I really like that. No, but seriously, and I'm sure that you will appreciate as well. Of course, Giuntoli will continue to travel. Of course, he will go to other places. But it's just to say, we are Juve. You want to talk with us? You want a player? Come. Come to discuss. I really like that. I really, really, really like that. And that's why, probably, we didn't see them on camera, but the management of Leicester already went to Torino. Or at least they had some contacts while Giuntoli was in Torino. For what player? Matias Soule. And that's where we go towards that second part, an important part of the video. Matias Soule is an important name. Plan A was to sell and cash in with Matias Soule, because you know that we have a lot of Mercato to do. Plan A. Then, with all the 50 hours of Thiago Motta studying Juve, with Thiago Motta speaking well about him, Bologna, Frosinone. With him being in La Continassa, they start to go towards a plan B, that is keeping Matias Soule. What were the discussions? What were they saying between them, Giuntoli and Thiago Motta? Well, there was a promise from Giuntoli to Thiago, and he told him, look, we'll try everything to keep him. If you believe in the kid, we want you to have that kid at disposal. But at one condition, that there are no offers that are an offer that we can't refuse. Because if an offer, a big one, 35, 40 million euro arrive, we will be obliged. Because we have to fund the remaining part of the Mercato to make the team stronger. As we did for Barrenechea, that you wanted to test. It was not the same level as appreciation than a Soule, but you wanted to test. Well, it was impossible. We had to for a Douglas Luiz, and that's why we sold him. Soule, plan A was to sell him. Plan B, we keep him. And now we are going towards an hybrid. We want to keep him, but we make you a promise. If it's lower than what we are expecting in offer, he stays. Otherwise, he's gone. Which Thiago Motta, he will make everything to not having any regrets, to understand that we are building a stronger Juve. What are the offers? Well, Roma was interested in Matias Soule. Then they hold back. They are not pushing, but Leicester is really the team that is pushing the most at the moment. They already offered 25 million euro plus 5 of bonus, contract ready until 2029, where Juventus said, no, we don't care. They are supposed to come back with another offer to go closer to the 35-40 million euro request of Juve. What can be that new offer that they can present? 28-30 million euro plus a bonus of 6-7 million that is going really closer to these 40 that Juventus is asking. Will they do it or not? Will Juve accept or not? Big question mark. At the moment, unfortunately, I see Soule more out than in. Not because of tactical choice, technical choice, because we don't believe in him, but because we know it. We need to continue the transfer market, and Soule is a player that can fund, especially because there is a blocked situation at the moment with Federico Chiesa. Soule va, Soule is gone, Gazzetta dello Sport is convinced about it, and now you go with the 3 other signings objective of Juventus Football Club. Yesterday we made a video about it. I even told you 4 names, but they are speaking about Koopmeiners, about Todibo, and about Jadon Sancho, with Soule partially funding these players so that we can accelerate also on the entry mercato. So let's follow it. You will tell me, Beppe, but what about the youth project, the next gen project? We are all selling them. It's partially true. On the other side, Juventus is not sleeping. Yesterday they announced Adzic, that they are telling me a lot of beautiful things. I knew already a lot about him when he was not yet a Juve player, because we studied him, because I was asking around. They all spoke really well about him. But now, even from La Continassa, after 2 days, they are telling me beautiful things. Yesterday announced, and a special one, because he's not a next-gen player, he's not a first-team player. It was really, literally written black on white. He's a player that will play in both teams. It will be a hybrid between next gen and first team. So it's already a beautiful promise for an 18 years old kid. And then you have a certainty. Federico Chiesa is on the market. Federico Chiesa is a player that will leave Juventus. We already spoke about it. You know all the details about Federico Chiesa. There are a lot of doubts about Federico Chiesa that the Euro were not able to answer. The real position of him, the real value of him, the post-injury Chiesa, a lot of questions. One certainty, he will be on the, or he is on the market. You will tell me, Beppe, okay, Soulé, okay, we understand. Chiesa, okay, we understand, but we don't have enough players offensively. If you have only Yildiz, Vlahovic, and who knows, a Sancho, you don't have enough for all the games that we will play. And you are correct. Now, this is not a priority. Priority of Juventus now is at least one name there. It is Sancho, Cope Manners, and also a defender, Todibo. But Juventus will continue to go for a vice Vlahovic and to reinforce these wings. So the Mercato of Juve is absolutely not done yet. We are only on the 12th of July, where we have 1 month and a half more to finish the Mercato. So a lot will still happen at Juventus Football Club. A name that is on Tuttosport and that we already spoke about was the one of the Albanian player Broja, that could potentially join Juventus as vice Vlahovic. I don't want to push too much on the name now. Why? Because I'm sure that today it's Broja, tomorrow it will be another name, tomorrow it will be another name. One name that will not be, it's the one of Morata, because apparently there is a Milan that is extremely close to offer him a 4-year contract at 5.5, where not only he's a rotational player, but big chances to see him as a starter, that new number 9 of Milan for the Rossoneri. That was it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, with a lot of news, backstage story about Giuntoli, Soule, the promise that has been made, entry, exit, Mercato, and then the training session, what we observed. Let me know what part you like the most. Training session, Mercato, XXX. Let me know. Grazie, forza, Juve.